Go. Look at all those big diesel engine equipment and big trucks that have been working to provide things for you and your neighbor. I'm getting pretty well fed up with the constant green energy false narrative and all those promoting it using fraudulent data. I've provided all the links for the websites of Heartland Institute in the past. I'll attempt to do it again whenever I finally load this video. Up ahead is some of that so-called green energy that on one of the coldest days this fall, of course, those turbines weren't turning. And on some of the hottest days this past summer, those turbines weren't turning. So they weren't providing any, any of that electric energy that we're expected to use to power our cars, our pickup trucks, our farm equipment, our big trucks like this one I'm sitting my backside in, hauling things for everybody. But you see, what I haul gets put into your gasoline, your diesel fuel, your jet fuel, gets put into your knucklehead's vehicle, your hand sanitizer, and of course, your cosmetics. So all the ladies is shiny with that used cooking oil, good old chicken grease. See, I'm taking part in green energy. I'm hauling stuff to recycle it, to mix in with natural gas, crude oil, and so forth, and make fresh product. But I'm an awful terrible person because I'm sitting on a big 6-cylinder, 12.7 liter Detroit diesel engine to do that job. We need to wake people up somehow, and you can't do it by leaving the television on. You gotta unplug it and throw it out the window, and maybe you'll get their attention. I don't know if you can see them yet. No, not because of trees. Right on the next hilltop, over to the right, is the beginning of roughly 100 wind turbines. It took them several months to build all those, and I was watching them, and one after another would be finished, but they weren't turning. Like, okay, what's the use of this? Well, I had to stop in a local truck stop, little small tiny community up the road here, and so I asked them, well, would anybody know what's the situation with those wind turbines? Because I see them all built, but they're not turning, so they're not giving us any energy. You can see at least a dozen of them over to the right. That's why you're angled that direction. And they didn't know anything about it. They're the local folks, even though they're spread out through their neighbor's ranch land. There was no infrastructure connected to those stinking turbines yet. No major transmission power lines. Now those things are straight in front of the truck, a bunch more. But they're still on the right-hand side of the road, it just curves. Listen to that big diesel engine whine as it pulls those hills. And guess what? I'm running biodiesel, because you can't get anything that doesn't have some either corn oil or used cooking oil mixed in it. It's not available anymore. And if it's B20, 20% biodiesel, it clogs up the filters and so forth, and maybe even the injectors or injection pumps on the older and older vehicles, you got to use more fuel additive or make sure they don't mess things up. They're trying to run without sulfur anymore. That messed up a lot of the old diesel injection pumps with the little pencil injectors. All the ones on the old farm equipment started leaking because no lubricant from sulfur, so the seals went bad. Even though we were adding lubricant in there that's no longer available, we had to find something different that cost 10 times as much. Thank you, Joe Obama, and all these other highly chosenly uneducated people. Oh my. What'd you do, fall down? Quit staring at the hood. That ain't gonna do you any good. There. Back to business. There's a whole bunch more. There's some to the right you probably can't see. Closer. This is a pretty good area for wind for the turbines. Other side of Del Rio, Texas, Morningstar Ranch, the South Texas Morningstar Ranch, is the one